Hello everybody. Welcome back to Crafty Landing. I'm Marie and it must be day 10 of this wonderful collaboration, the 2023 Christmas Craft Off collaboration presented to you by Rachel and Bella Crafts, and it is amazing. We are only on day 10 and already we will have had 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18 wonderful projects here on YouTube, because there are 2 projects every day throughout November, and on the very final day there are actually 3. That's amazing. It must be one of the biggest, if not the biggest, collaboration. It's really fab. Rachel and Bella have got so many fabulous people on board. I hope you're liking everything that you see. I hope you're commenting on everything that you see, because if you do, you will be put into a draw at the end where there are some fabulous prizes to be won. And I know that there are more than 60 prizes, I think, to be won. I think there are a huge lot of prizes that Rachel will be giving away. So do like the videos, leave a comment, and you will be put into a draw, as I say, if you do that on every single one. So day 10, 2 people every day. I'm with Junk Journal Joy. She is my fellow elf. Yes, we are little elves, crafters, and Junk Journal Joy is my fellow elf. I do not know what she is doing, so that'll be a nice surprise for me. And you can download this sheet of all the collaborators from Rach and Bella's Ko-fi site if you wish. And while you're there, you can also download the list of prompts. If you're playing along with us and want to join in with some of the prompts and some of the projects that you've seen, then the prompt list is on the Ko-fi site. I'm day 10 along with Junk Journal Joy. So day 10, there's Junk Journal Joy, there's me, Crafty Landing, and our prompt is "It's like a fairy tale." And I will show you how I interpreted that prompt in a minute. So you can download the list of prompts, and if you are playing along on Instagram or YouTube, please use hashtag ChristmasCraftOff23. That's hashtag ChristmasCraftOff23, and you will be able to see everything to do with the collaboration. Also on the Ko-fi site, Rach and Bella are giving away some freebies. Here is a freebie on the Ko-fi site. When you are checking out, it is free, but the little price box will come up when you're checking out. Just put 0 in there, crafters. That's all you need to do. Just put a 0 in there, check out, and then it will come up, show you the download button, and you click that and then you'll be able to download it. So even though it takes you to the proper checkout and is asking you for a price, just put 0 in there and you will be able to get the freebies. Of course, if you wish to give Rachel and Bella something, that's up to you, but you don't have to with a freebie, so it is just a 0. And this is a sheet of a freebie sheet, sorry, that you can get from the Ko-fi site as well. So that's that. Now, before we crack on, we have to stop and talk about the kit. Rach and Bella's amazing Christmas kit that we are using in the collaboration. We cannot just go on, can we? No, we can't. I'm shaking my head because we just really have to talk about this amazing kit. The bundle is huge because I think there are background pages, and I think there might be 2 sets of background pages, because I know there's a shabby set and I'm sure there's another one. So that's 2 background sets, the journal pages, the fussy cut pages, the collage pages. There may even be more, but that so far is 5 bundles. I'm sure you can purchase them as a huge bundle on Rach and Bella Crafts Etsy site. I'm not sure if it's on their Ko-fi site, but I imagine it will be. However, you don't just have to buy the whole big bundle, because there are separate bundles. You can buy them individually as well. I just want to show you this beautiful. Rachel has done an amazing job. Look at these snowmen. We've got some journal cards here and a little postcard here. The images are beautiful. Rachel, honestly, well done, because they are just stunning. Here's an example of the journal page. This is printed off on, this is regular presentation paper, and I've also printed some off on 120 GSM presentation paper. But honestly, look, the images are just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. We have this one here. So you can see, even though it's red, it's not a bright red. It has a definite vintage vibe about it, even though this image here looks quite modern. The colours, the way Rachel's done it, it is so beautiful that you could use it in a vintage way. Because I have a vintage style, I prefer the vintage vibe, and these are just stunning to use. The colours are fab. But as I say, they're quite modern images as well. So if you are into a more modern style, these will work just as well. I mean, this is beautiful. Children building a snowman, Father Christmas, the houses in the background are just brilliant. This is a collage sheet, and Rachel has also done some collage sheets 12 by 12, as you will see here. There's a couple of 12 by 12, 12 by 12? That's my scrapbooking. Portrait. Rachel has done some portrait. Just ignore the 12 by 12 bit that I just said. Portrait. So Rachel has done them in landscape. Where's the collage sheet in landscape? Here. So that's a landscape one. And that's another landscape one. And here's a portrait one. She's beautiful, isn't she? So you get landscape and portrait collage sheets. Here's another journal page. That is stunning. Honestly, if you were like me, you were oohing and ahhing over this. It is so huge. The design team members, I'm a member of the design team, and Rachel said to us, it's so big that we'll just have to print off what we want. And she's right in a way, but it's so beautiful, I've just printed it off anyway. But you can pick and choose, you know, delve into it and just print off what you want. And here are some of the background pages. So, and here is a more shabby one, because there is a shabby set. That's a greeny colour. That's a beautiful green. Honestly, it's really, really stunning. So thank you, Rachel, you've done a fab job. So go to the Ko-fi site, download these, go to her Etsy or the Ko-fi site again, download the kit, and you'll be ready to go. So day 10, my prompt is it's like a fairy tale, and I have decided to make a journal topper. A journal topper with a difference. My journal topper, as you can see, there's something just about peeking through, but we can't tell what it is yet. And that's the fairy tale bit. The element of surprise, the ooh and the ah, the magical, the suspense, and always at the end of a fairy tale, there's a happy ending. And you'll see the happy ending as I open my journal topper. One window with some lace and some clusters from the fussy cut sheet. A second window with some gold tulle, and again some fussy cuts from the sheet, and we can see a bit more of that image, and that lifts up like that. Another window, we can see a bit more of that image, fussy cuts, and if I open that, ta-da, ah, and that's the ah of a fairy tale happy ending. We all sit there watching a fairy tale film, and at the end we go, ah, don't we? And there's my ah. It's the snow globe. I've chosen the snow globe from Rachel's journal pages. So I've made windows, and each window has something that you can see through, but each one is different. And if I go back to the beginning, you can just peek at something. You can just see it, but you're not sure what it is. And that's the element of the surprise. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So we have the front one that flips open like a book, and the circular window has some lace. Then we have the center one which flips up, and we have some tulle, gold tulle I've used in there on that window. And the third window opens up to this side, and it has some vellum in there. And when we finally see the beautiful image at the end. I have sewn around each page. You don't have to sew around. If you've got a good glue will work just as well. But because we're going to be cutting out windows and sandwiching something in between, I've decided to sew mine to help it keep in there, to help it keep together, but also for the effect. So I will show you how we're going to do this. I'm going to show you what you need to start with. You need your image that's going to be at the back of your journal topper, the image that you're finally going to see and go, ah, isn't that lovely at the end. I chose the snow globe there. This time I'm thinking of having her as my final page. So I've chosen that page, I've printed that one off. You are also going to need 3 other pages, one for each of your windows. So 3 pages. I've chosen one of the collage sheets. So I've got that one. I've also chosen, I think this is one of the background sheets. So I've got the background sheet, and my final one is this image here, one of the journal pages. Please bear in mind that you're going to be cutting the window out. So whatever journal page you have, if it has an image, a big image like this, some of it may be cut away. So just think about that. Because it may affect it may affect your choice of pages that you want to use. It won't matter with my background because of course there's no image on here. It won't matter quite so much with my collage one, but if you're choosing one with an image like I have done here, just bear in mind that part of that image will be cut out for the window. You will also need something that could be sandwiched in for the window, something that you're viewing through the window. So the first window is lace. I've got some lace here. My second window, as I say, is gold tulle. So I've got some more of that gold tulle. And my third window is the vellum. So I've got a piece of vellum here. So you'll need something to be put in each of the windows. You will also need some cardstock to go on the back of the topper. So here's my journal topper and I've popped it on some card. So you'll need some card for the back. And you'll also need 3 pieces of thin cardstock, I would say. 3 pieces of thin cardstock. Now the sizes, right. Well, when you've chosen your 3 pages that you want, you fold them in half. So let me start with my page 1. So that's going to be, I'll move my picture one out of the way for a minute. So that's my first page. So that's going to have the biggest window, collage sheet. I fold it in half. Okay, and then you'll need to trim it to be, I think they are all 4 7/8 by 7 3/8. So I found the easiest way to get my page size was after I folded it. I folded my sheet and then I took it to my trimmer and I made sure it was 4 7/8 by 7 3/8. So each of your pages need to be trimmed again 4 7/8 by 7 3/8. So fold them in half and trim them. Then you also need the 3 pieces of thin cardstock. And what you need these for are to help make your pages a bit sturdier, but also to act as the hinge when you're opening each window. So if I go back to the journal topper, this first window opens like a normal book, so I need my hinge to be down here. The second window opens at the top, so I need my hinge to be here, and the third window opens this side, so I need my hinge to be here. So each of the pages not only need to be slightly sturdy, but they need a hinge. So I found thin cardstock to be the best for that. So I've put my cardstock, sandwiched it in between the folded page, same size, but I've made sure I've got extra for the hinge part. I don't know if you can see it very well on the camera, but I've got this bit here for the hinge because my first door opens that way, or my first window I should say. My second window, remember, my second window opens from the top. So I've got my second piece of thin cardstock. I'm going to sandwich it in between the folded page, and I've made sure I've left some at the top to act as my hinge. So that's my hinge for page 2. And page 3, I'm going to use this as the front part. Page 3 again, cardstock, sandwiched in between the journal page. Make sure it's the same size as the journal page, but leave extra for the hinge. And the hinge needs to be on the right because it opens like that. So let me just show you one more time. So the first page, cardstock sandwich between the journal paper, and the hinge needs to be on the left because the first page opens to the left. Second page, cardstock sandwich between the journal, the background sheet that I've used, hinge at the top because the second page opens upwards. The third page, cardstock sandwiched, extra for the hinge, and it opens from the right. So the hinge needs to be on the right. When you've done that, you then need to think about the windows. Okay, so I've got my cardstock, I'm just going to move these two out of the way. So I've got my first one. I've got my cardstock sandwiched between the page. I'm going to use some paper clips here. I've just got some paper clips here. What's happened to them? They've all got, there we go. Get some paper clips, and I'm going to paper clip the top and the bottom to hold the cardstock in place just for a minute. Now, my window sizes, and how did I make the circular windows? Well, I've got some circle dies somewhere, but I didn't use them for this because I can't find them. We've recently had our windows done, and I packed some of my craft stuff away. Can I find my circle dies? No, can't find them. Can't find them anywhere. I know they're here somewhere. When you want them, you can never find them, can you? So I, ladies and gents, had to use a normal compass. Back to school days. A regular compass. If you don't have a regular compass, just find maybe 3 circles that go down in size, so each one gets smaller, but I did use a regular compass. If you've got circle dies, great, but as I said, I couldn't find mine. So if you're following along with me, these are the sizes that I used. So my large window that's going to be on the first page, diameter edge to edge, my largest window is 3 3/4 inches, which is approximately 9.5 centimeters. That's my largest window. My middle window, so the one that goes up, so this one here, the second one, the one that flips up like so, that window size, as you can see, I used a 3-inch one. So edge to edge, the diameter 3 inches, which is approximately 7.6 centimeters. And the smallest window, which is our last door to open, so this one here, the vellum one, as you can see, there it is. Diameter is 2 1/4 inches, which is approximately 5.7 centimeters. So those are the sizes of the windows. And what I did, because I can't find my circle dies, I used the compass and I cut them out of card. Okay, so I'm just going to show you the difference in sizes. So that's our largest one. Then our middle one is 3 inches. Then our smallest one is 2 1/4. They go down 3/4 of an inch each time. So 3 3/4, 3 inch, 2 1/4. They go down 3/4 of an inch each time, and you can see how much they've staggered. Okay, you don't have to have them staggered that much if you don't want to. It's up to you, as long as each of the windows gets smaller. Okay, so that's how I did the windows. So we sandwiched our cardstock in between the sides of our page. Okay, and I'm going to position my template wherever I want my window to be. And as you can see, I've already thought about my window to be where I want my window, because I've got a pencil line here already. So I just put my template on where I want my first window to be, and then I drew around it, and I've drawn around it already. Take that away, and I'm going to get my craft knife and cut the first window out. And by sandwiching the card in between, you'll be able to cut the card as well. So it's all done in one go. So I'm going to put my craft knife down there, across there, and then I'll probably get my scissors to finish cutting the circle out. So I'm going to do that with all 3 of my pages, and then I will come back and show you and discuss what we're going to do next. See you in a minute. Okay, so I've cut out our very first window, and as you can see, the cardstock is still there and the window has been cut out. Not complete circle, but please don't worry about that, because we're going to be sewing and inking and covering up a lot of the window with the cluster of fussy cuts. So you aren't going to see the complete circle of the window on the outside. So if you haven't managed to cut yours completely in a circle, if you don't have a die, don't worry, because I'm not. I've had to cut mine, and I'm going to be inking that, and it's really not going to matter. Now I want to show you how I positioned my second window, because now that I've got my first window, I can place it on top of the second page, and oops, I've moved it. And if I hold it there with some paper clips, I will be able to work out where I want my second window to be, because remember, I've got templates. So if I now put my second template inside the first window that I've cut, I will be able to see roughly where I want my second window to be. So I'm just going to hold that there and draw around it. So this is going to be our second window. Remember, the second window opens from the top, so make sure you've got your hinge at the top. Make sure your cardstock is sandwiched between the journal page that you have folded in half. And if I take that one, I undo my paper clip, take my first window away now, I will be able to see the pencil line for the second window. So again, now I can use my craft knife to slit and then my scissors to cut. So that's what I'm going to do. If you're using dies, you might have to fill with your dies like that as well, to make sure the second window is going to be in the right place when the first door opens. Okay, so I'll come back in a minute. Okay, so I have my first window cut out. I have my second window cut out, and as you can see, there it is. So now again, I need my third window cut out. So I can move my first one away, get my third window, put my paper clips on it to hold it. And remember, the third window needs to open from the right. So I need to make sure that my hinge is on the right, and I can position my second window over the top of it. Oops, make sure it's all, there we go. Position my second window on the top. And then the template for the third window, the smallest window, as you can see, exactly like we did before. Pop it on where I need it to be, get my pencil, draw around it, and then I will be able to get my craft knife in there and cut it out. So I'm going to do that again, and I'll be back with you to show you how we put the fabric in between. Okay, I'm back, and you can see that I have a big window, middle window, and a small window right there. Okay, and each one, yep, there we go. Okay, get staggered to go smaller and smaller. Right, I'm going to use a piece of lace again, I think, for the first window. So I'm going to get my lace, and I'm going to sandwich it in between. Okay, now I think I'm going to stick it to the back. Okay, through the back. So my cardstock is there as well. So I'm just going to stick very carefully and roughly the piece of lace. Can you see? I wonder if I should get my cutting board. Is it better on my cutting board for you to see? So let me just move that. Is that better? There we go. So I've opened my page, and you can see my cardstock. So I'm just now going to make sure that I cut my lace. I don't want it over the hinge, so I'm just going to have my lace slightly bigger than the window, just a tiny bit bigger than the window itself. We're going to sew it so it will get caught in there. If you're not going to sew it, very carefully glue it in place. I'm just going to make sure it's not seen out, poking out here. No, it's not. So I am just very carefully going to stick that in place using a bit of Fabri-Tac. I'm going to close the blind in a minute because I'm aware that the sun is beginning to shine through. It's awful, isn't it, trying to block out the sun this time of year, but it will start to interfere with the quality of the recording, so I will close the blind in a minute. So that's the lace, okay, and I'm going to close that, and I'm going to sew. If you're not sewing, you will this is what we haven't done, inked. I will ink in a minute. We need to ink the window, and we need to ink all the way around the page. All the way around we can do at the end, but we definitely need to ink the window. So I can pull my card out in a minute and do that. Okay, so I'll leave that to just dry a little bit a minute, and as I said, we need to ink the window. This one I inked in Vintage Photo. I think this time I'm going to ink in Victorian Velvet Distress ink. Let's see what that looks like. So I'm just going to ink one on camera. I'm not going to ink them all on camera. I'll turn off in a minute and do the others, close the blind, and then come back to you and show you. So I am going to sew. My sewing machine is right next to me. However, as I say, I'm aware that not everybody, one, has a sewing machine, and two, enjoys sewing. So if you're not sewing, please make sure you glue down the pages carefully with the cardstock and the lace or tulle and vellum in the centre of your windows. Turn over and ink the other side. Now, faux stitching, you can always get a pen, a black or brown pen, and do some faux stitching. And the way I do faux stitching is just like I do dots all the way round. So with my pen, I will dot all the way around, and then in between every other dot, I just draw a line touching the dots, and it looks like stitching has happened. So that's how I do my faux stitching. I'm just quickly inking this. Boring for you watching the ink, isn't it? Okay, that's going to be the front because it opens that way. So am I happy with the inking? Yes, I am. So let's just put that away for a minute. I'll do the others off camera. And this has to go in this way, of course, because the hinge needs to be on the left on this side. So I'm hoping, oh, what's happened? Oh, the glue, some of the glue. So the hinge has to be on the left, so I'm hoping that fits in there. Yep, okay. So that's there. Make sure it fits properly. Why is that not fitting properly? Is it that way round? Yep, it's that way round. There we go. Okay, so it will all fit back in because we cut it together. Right, so now I'm going to take this to my sewing machine and I'm going to sew around each window, and I'm going to sew around the edge. Okay, so I'm going to put the fabric that I want in each window, just like I've done the first one. So the second window I want to use tulle, so I've got some gold tulle here, so that will be put into the middle window there, and then I will do exactly the same. I'll ink, sew around, and then the third window I want to use vellum, so again I shall ink both sides, sandwich the vellum in, and sew all around the edge. So I'll do that off camera, close the blind a little bit so we don't get dazzled by the sun, and I will come back and show you. Okay, hello, I'm back. I have sewn all the way round the circle, so the circles for the windows, and also all around the edge. I haven't inked the edge yet, so I've sewn around the circles. I've actually done double stitching, so I've sewn around it twice, and you can see the stitching around the edge of each page, and my vellum one, I've sewn the window circle and around the edge. Now what I do, that's the front side of the sewing. On the back side, what I do is I get my bone folder and I just press down all my stitching to try and get those stitches quite flush with the paper, so they don't feel so bumpy. So I just go round and I burnish all my stitches to help it, yeah, like I say, be less bumpy, stay quite flat. So I'll just quickly do that a minute. So I just get my bone folder, as you can see, and I just press down all the underneath of the stitching, the underside of the stitching, like that. And don't forget your window. Okay, that's the tulle one, and the front one, the lace one. Okay, just burnish all those stitches. I'm just roughly doing it very quickly. I might take a bit more time usually if I wasn't on camera. Right, so now we can start to think about the construction. Remember, that's going to be our hinge. Okay, while we are here, I think I will just miter my hinges ready. So mitering the hinges means just cutting off the corners. Okay, we might need to neaten the pages up after it's constructed, but for now I'm just mitering all my corners on the hinges, which just enables the hinge to fit a bit better, because the corners will have been chopped off slightly. Could you see? Oops. There you go, just do that one a bit more. There you go. Okay, so I've mitered, oh, that's this way. So I've mitered the corners. So now I can start thinking about constructing the actual topper itself before I decorate it with the fussy cut embellishments. So we need to begin to fold the hinges now. So I'm going to get my scoreboard for that. So I'm just going to move that out of the way. Get my scoreboard, which is my cutter as well. Okay, so I'm just going to get my scoreboard, and I'm just going to, I'm not measuring anything, I'm just going to put, I'm going to do it this way, just going to put my hinge against a score line, and I'm just going to score, follow that line, and I'm just going to score all the way down. Okay, and then that means I will have a nice score to help me fold the page. So that's my first one. My second one I know goes upwards, so I'm just going to score that one. Let's score that one for a score line on my board down. So I'm going to fold that one like that. I'll press them down in a moment with my bone folder, but just for now I'm going to fold them. And then the third page I know is going to open like that, so I'm just going to put that up there and score down here. There we go. So now I know I've got a, oh, off camera, sorry. I know I've got a score line there. Right, let's get rid of that one a minute. Bring them back on so that I can score them, use my bone folder to press down the hinge there. So that's that one. Turn it over, and that one, and the middle one. Okay, and turn it over. Do that one. That's the top hinge because the center one goes up, and then the front page. Let me just run that down. Okay, turn over. Okay, now I'm just going to go around and ink all the edges, and I shall be back. Okay, so I've inked all the way around them now, ready to construct. So vellum on the bottom. I'm just going to make sure they do all sit nicely on top of one another. And as you can see, yes, they do. Do I need my mat again so that you can see? So we have got the lace cover, and that will open that way. Then we have the tulle middle, which opens upwards, remember. And then finally we have the vellum, which will open this way. So now I need the image inside, don't I? And here she is. So we need to think about how to fit her at the back. Okay, so I've just closed the blind, which means you might see different colours and things now. But we were at the point of trying to think about where the image for the final window needs to be. So I'm just going to move the top one and the middle one out of the way, which leaves us with the vellum window. So we need to make sure that she is going to be exactly where I want her to be. And can you just see her face there? That's perfect, isn't it? So I'm going to get most of her in, aren't I? So she's going to go, I'm going to get most of her, even her feet will be on the page. How fab. So we need to now draw around. I think I'm just going to get my pencil and draw around where I need her to be. So there, and then I'm going to up there, and then I'm just going to cut this part out that I need a moment. So let's do that. These collage pages are just lush, aren't they? You can use for so many things. Now, she may need that, well, I say she, this page may need fiddling with a little bit when we start layering the windows on top, but we'll see. So I'm going to cut down there. Right, so we have her, lovely, lovely, lovely hair. Okay, is that too bright? I'm just looking at the screen. I hope not. Right, so, and that's the vellum window, which is our last window. So now it's just a matter of assembling the hinges and putting them in place where I need them to be. So that would be the vellum. Then it would be the tulle, and the tulle window opens from the top, remember. So we need to, this is what I mean, you just need to fiddle a little bit. Oh, look at that, it's fitting almost perfectly. Remember, my wonky stitching will look like they're not exactly together, and then, but they are. And then the last, well, the top window will go in here like that, and once they are all glued onto the back, it will be perfect. Look at that. So I'm just going to now turn it over and see if I need to trim her down. I don't know if you're going to be able to see, but when there, can you see there's a slight bulge? So I know that I'm going to need to trim her down a little bit so that they all fit snug behind her. So when I glue, they're all fitting snug. So can you see that little bit of a bulge? So I know I need to trim her down very, very slightly. So I'm going to do that. I just need to trim a tiny bit off down the edge here, and I am talking a slither. Can you see? Just a slither. So now, hopefully, if I put that back in, that should be much more of a better fit, a better snug. Okay, I'm just going to, it's very bright. Let me see if I can fiddle with the brightness a minute. Okay, let's just, is that a bit better? Let's try that. Okay. Right, let's see if that's a bit better, isn't it, for you? So now I'm just going to turn over and I'm just going to glue. So I'm going to glue the first one down. Okay, needs to be good glue. Whatever glue you have that you like and you know is strong, use that one. Right, so I'm just going to lift this up. Yes, there she is. Okay, now my middle one, and remember the middle one needs to open from the top. So I'm just looking here before I glue. I'm just making sure it all fits well and I'm happy with it, with the staggered windows. So let's glue that one on. Okay, and I'm just going to take another look. Yep. So now finally the lace one is the front opening door. Let me just, now this one is sometimes the one that needs the most fiddling with, because it's having to fit over 2 other windows. There we go. So that needs to be nice and snug, so I know that is going to be quite tight in there. Okay, right, let's have some glue. Let's pop the glue down there. Oh, I'm all wonky. Anybody else all work wonky? Wonky donkey. Okay, that's that one on there. Right. Now I'm just going to turn over to make sure. Sorry, I know I keep going off camera. I'm just making sure that all my windows fit snug and nothing is looking too out of place. So now you can see that we've got our front one opens up that way. Our centre, oh, there's a bit of glue. I'm just going to wipe the glue off. Okay, there we go. The centre one opens up that way. Let's wipe any excess glue away. And the third one, before it gets stuck from the glue, opens up that way. And ta-da! We have our beautiful girl, don't we, behind. Let me just, there's a little bit of glue here, so I'm just wiping that excess glue away. Right, so now can you, like, because she's quite flimsy, we haven't backed her onto anything yet, which is why I suggested you needed a piece of backing card here. Okay, so I've got a piece ready, so we can glue it onto the backing. Okay, I think I might do that at the end. And then what we need to do now is just layer up all our fussy cutting. Okay, so I have already, as you probably spotted here in the corner, I have already cut out and backed onto some cardstock the fussy cuts. Now, if I show you what paper I used for the, okay, I haven't got any spare, I've used it all up. Let me see what I've got here to show you. This bit will be good. It's only a tiny bit of scrap, but when I did the fussy cut and I cut them out, I glued them onto cardstock, but I glued them onto the underneath, the white side, so I glued it on like that. And the reason why I did that was because I wanted the colour side, to show through underneath. So when I turn it over here, the coloured side is showing, because the fussy cuts are overlapping the windows. So on the underneath side, you get to see the backs of them. So I didn't want white, I wanted the coloured. Okay, so if you've got double-sided cardstock to stick them onto, that's great. But mine were patterned one side and plain the other, so I stuck the fussy cuts on the plain side, which then meant the coloured side would be seen underneath. I hope that makes sense. So I've already backed these, so now it's just a matter of deciding. Let me get rid of the scrappy bits. It's just a matter of deciding where I want everything to be. So I think I might want this lovely lantern to go here, because these pages, this backing page has a slight blue tinge, so I might want that to go there. And it doesn't matter if it's covering a bit of the girl's head, because remember, the surprise is at the end, so it's all hidden a little bit until you get to the very end. I'm just going to see what that lantern looks like when I close the front cover. It might be a bit too big. Let me try something else. So I've got the fussy cuts here. The bell. I might want the bell. Oh my goodness, that's lovely. I might put the bell there. Let me see what it's like this side. Oh yes, that's not too bad, is it? Oh, lovely. So that's the bell. I might want the bell this side, although it's got the holly leaves. It might, let me see. Okay, decisions. But that's what I'm going to do now. I'm just going to start and find which ones I want and position them where I want. And I'll stick most of them on, but I'll do the last page with you and you can see my clustering process. So I'll be back in a bit. Okay, so I have done the front page and the middle page, and I'll show you in a minute. And I'm just about to position a cluster on the smallest window here. There's the girl peering through, and I've just got a Merry Christmas sign from an old Christmas card that I had, and I thought that might go there. And one of Rachel's fussy cuts, the holly berry, I thought that would go quite nice there, sort of maybe like that. And then down here in this sort of part here, I dug out a wood Christmas tree from my stash, and there are some presents here, so I thought that this one might be quite nice to use there. And I've also dug out a little journaling card from the fussy cut sheets, and I thought I might pop that there like that, and the presents, and then the Christmas tree sort of just like that, and then it's all sort of framing her. I think I might do that, so I need to ink everything now. The Merry Christmas is already inked, but I shall just do the holly berry. So if you cut out the fussy cuts, and you've got plenty then to play with. And I know if you followed Steph from Hilltop View Journals, she has made an ephemera folder, and she often does that, and she then keeps all the fussy cuts for that particular kit that she's using in the ephemera folder that she has made. And that's a very, very good idea. And in the new year, I think that's going to be one of my new to-dos, is to follow Steph's example, and when I'm using a kit, to quickly make some sort of ephemera folder or envelope to keep all my fussy cuts in, especially if it's a vellum pocket or vellum section, so that you can see the fussy cuts through the vellum, or even clear cellophane, I suppose, would work, wouldn't it? And then you can see, just like a stamp folder or something, and you can see all the stamps inside then, can't you? But I'm definitely going to follow in Steph's example and do that. And it was lovely to meet Steph at the retreat, actually. We had a fabulous time. If you're ever able to come, please do. I'd love to meet you. And we did, Rachel and Bella pulled all the stops out for us. A few issues with the venue, but Rachel and Bella themselves pulled out all the stops for us, and we had a lovely, lovely time. There, I think I'm just going to glue all those into place, and then I will show you, we'll stick the card on the back, and I will be able to show you what it's all looking like. So I'm just going to stick that there, and then a little bit of glue. Don't need to worry about the top part hanging over the window, actually, in using these ones. Does that need to go that way up? It does. I'm going to do it that way up. Yes, it does. I'm just going to put that there like that. Merry Christmas. And then these ones here. So now, the reason why I wanted to show you was, if I lift this door open, this window open, I keep calling it a door and it's a window. If I lift this window open, the back of this journal card will be seen. So I need to glue very carefully. So I'm just going to, I'm going to ink the back of this one, because this one is white, and that is the bit I don't want to glue. So I just want to glue just roughly this bit here. So I need to, that bit there. Doesn't matter that this is sticking out a little bit because it's a journal topper, but it can always be cut off anyway. You're not losing any of the picture. And then my presents, again, just going to ink the back of this one very speedily. That's why these ones aren't backed onto pattern card, because the video is going on a bit and I just want to make sure I get it done so that you can see the finished project. So that's going to go there, and my lovely Christmas tree, which I have inked, is going to go. Just ink the edges. I don't mind the wood. Like I said, the kit has got those beautiful colours in where the vintage feel works perfectly. So I'm just going to put the Christmas tree there. I'm going to leave it away from this centre bit a little bit, because when it's all folded I want it still to fold flat. And I'm just wondering about using anything else that I might have, but I'm quite liking this as it is. So I'm just going to leave that for a moment. I can always add things a bit later on. Oh, I don't know why I did the glue up, because we need to put the back on now. So I'm just going to reach over for my little bit of backing. If you remember, I cut the card already, and I'm just going to, I'm not going to glue completely to the edge in case it needs trimming. I'm just going to glue near the edge and the middle. Now, if you want to close your topper with some ribbon, now is the time to do it, because you could put the ribbon, in fact I'm going to do that with this one. Shall I use green or red? Green. Okay, I am just going to stick this ribbon on the back before I stick this down. Turn it over and have a little look. And we need to have a little fiddle to make sure it's on. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Now, and then this is where we can tie it. Oh, tie it closed. Right, I just want to quickly show you because we are almost there. So I'm going to show you the front cover. So that's my clustering, a few little stars. And I use the bell on the front because I fell in love with it. That's by Lacy Window. The second page, I've clustered up here some of the fussy cuts. I don't know if you can see, but there are a couple of snowflakes that I stuck on from my stash. A little bit of shiny mistletoe here. The candle, the word special, that's from my stash. And I did a little twig here, a little sprig. So that's from my stash. And it's just a matter of clustering them. And this is my final window, sorry, which you've just seen me do. And then we open it again. Oh, what's happened? Is it glued down? I hope not. Oh, it has, you know. Let me just fix that. There we go. And we open it up and ta-da! So thank you for watching. I hope this has given you some inspiration. Please like, subscribe and comment. I've just loved it, and enjoy the rest of the tutorials. Thank you very much. Bye.